Ah, heck. Hello. Welcome. Wait, let me do my little skippity hop. Oh, goodness. Wait, did that? That sounded. I feel like that almost sounded like I said skippity. That was not my intention. Well, we have. We have started the book club stream on my another welcome in. I hope everyone is excited. I am. I'm very excited. I figured I should yap for a little bit before we get started. For those who do not know the history, the full detail, we previously ran a little book club, which is very fun and cool via Discord for a few months, but I ended up pausing it in the hopes of swapping it over to a more stream-engaged format. And I thought, you know what, new year, just had debut, perfect time to start. So yeah, let me say hello to everyone. Oh my gosh, hello Turquoise, how are you doing? Welcome in. First, very speedy. Hello Phil, Jake. Oh, I'm getting hydrated as well. Oh my gosh, let me take a little drink, a little drinky drink. Hi Tim, hi Meow, hi Phil. Elmo indeed, Elmo. Howdy Alex. I hope you're all having a good day. I'm like half nervous, half excited for this. It's one of those things where I'm just like, I've planned it all out, but I don't know. But should we hop into the slides? I feel like I should stall for an introduction. I was intending to start going through how the book club is and how it'll function at around 1:15, because there will be democracy at play. It's like a treat. we won't be establishing that as the usual precedent, but you know, for now, in this one exception, you'll get to vote on things. I think it'll be fun. But yeah. Oh, I have so many tabs open. What is this? Who could have done this to me? Who logged onto my computer, broke into my library, and opened 100 tabs relating to things I do? Whoever could have done this? Fuck has been playing Cuphead, died 45 times but got past L1 and 2. Oh, let's go. I know very little about Cuphead. My whole context of it is people raging on stream. Every now and then I just see clips of it. I tend not to watch or play rage games too much, because I don't really tilt, which I think is kind of necessary for the experience of them. And then, additionally, I get stressed when people get angry. and so I tend to not enjoy watching the streams of them too much. So it's something that I am a bit kind of oblivious to, I suppose. Cuphead seems interesting, but platformer ain't my thing. I thought Cuphead was like a bullet hell adjacent thing. Question, do any of the books have pictures? None of the books I've nominated this month have pictures, but I'm gonna go through it when I go on a tangent. A planned tangent. But anime, manga, digital books, non-traditional forms of writing, poetry collections, anything can be nominated. It's not gonna just be, it has to be like a 200-page hardback published by Penguin Random House. I am very fluid with the definition of what counts as a book. in a nebulous sense, I think that it's about storytelling, and so absolutely reading comics or manga is to be included. Previously, when we ran the book club through the Discord last year, we had one manga which was picked, which was Hoseki no Kuni, which I nominated because it's my favorite. And I wanted to make everyone suffer. okay, I didn't want to make everyone suffer. I wanted everyone to understand why I think it's such a good series. I'm surprised I like Hollow Knight and Ori so much. I really want to try Hollow Knight, but I feel like I need to finish Ori first. But then I took such a big break, I feel like going back into Ori is going to be difficult. Wait, let me... Oh, I'm going to just swap over to studio mode and put a little countdown timer on stream to indicate when we're going to start the book club portion, because I think that would be helpful. Did I do that correctly? Aha! Oh, you're down here. Okay, I have 2 timers now. They're both quite small. No lag on my OBS. Who could have ever seen that coming? No one asked how many layers I have. It's forbidden knowledge. Forbidden. Forbidden. Not allowed. Bad. Oh, hi, Min. How are you doing? How are you doing? And hello, Benny. Oh my gosh, I was too busy lagging in OBS. I forgot to say hello to people. Oh, come in. I feel like I should stop saying Happy New Year to people. I am leaving the little Christmas dinner, festive dinner, up on Starting Soon screen till the 5th. We only have 2 more streams of festive dinner to enjoy. Okay. Nerd! You know me very well. I'm quite excited. I always get a little bit nervous before doing anything that's kind of just chatting or talking based streams, so that if I run out of brain cells I can't turn and be like, whoa, look at a video game. But I've been super duper excited to start the book club again. I think that as interesting as reading and storytelling is, so much of the meaningful retention of knowledge comes from discussing and comparing interpretations, and that's something you get to do very often when you read books, and so I'm so excited to get the chance to do that through book club. And I love sharing an excitement over things, so I'm super duper looking forward to it. I have done something which is a little bit unusual for me, which I did somewhat consult best of lists for the books that I've picked to some extent for the book club, because I thought if it's kind of topical end of 2024, it might be interesting for those who are just getting into readings and stuff. Happy New Year! Thank you, Ben. I hope you have a great New Year too. One thing which I will say, which is I was just like, do I use like the special events stream thing? I feel like that's very dramatic. And so I decided that I'm just gonna hide away and just chatting, I think that shall be my plan. Oh, hi Jenny, welcome in, welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. But yeah, I think, no further spoilers and discussions on what books have been nominated, but Min will be happy to know that one of the books that I have put forward to vote on is a Brandon Sanderson book. So that should keep our local Totally Not a Cat, Definitely a Hologram DM happy. I'm just here to return the incorrect cat propaganda to my friends. I'm not very good at it. I think I'm a bit too earnest. But I can try to participate in the bit. I'm gonna do my best. I'm looking forward to it. I have the qualm of one of the... I'm gonna make the timer bigger. One of the books that I have suggested for us to vote on, I just intend to read this month. And so I'll either be reading it as part of book club on my own, but I don't want to say which one that is because I don't want to like bias the jury. That makes it sound awfully sinister, but I'm so happy the book counter has started working again, because it's quite a kerfuffle when for the first streams it was user book has collected number user books. I don't know how I managed to mess it up in so many different ways. A fun fact. Okay, let's see. Which of my anecdotes about books should I pick up? Okay, I'm gonna pick up. I managed to find a very old printing of a pocket guide to wildflowers for good country walks. And so I'm just gonna like pick out a UK countryside flower and then read a little bit about it. Or actually, wait, I feel like as much as I love plant-related anecdotes, I think Johnny would potentially prefer one about space again. There was positive responses to the space fun facts. Tentatively. There was lots of the word space and exclamation letters last time. Okay, so this isn't about a planet per se, but about a star. So our understanding of the universe's space. So the age of Earth, the universe, and the different solar systems and galaxies in it isn't down to like a perfect calculation, but we believe the universe to be around 13.7 billion years old, and we have been at around that point or refining closer to it for like 10 or 15 years. So there's some suggestion that we have a solid plan for it. However, our understanding of how planets and solar systems, and to small extent single or dual star systems, formed over the course of the universe is kind of shaken up by the existence of what was once a dual system and is now a single system called Methuselah, which it's estimated to be around 13 billion years old, which is very, very, very confusing because the general understanding was that planets wouldn't be ready to form until I think around 12.9 billion years ago or 12.8 billion years ago, which sounds like a 0.1, but in billion years that's a big deal. And so it's really cool, but it's also kind of wow in terms of our understanding of the formation of stars and the surrounding systems in the universe. The Methuselah system was previously a dual star system. I forget the correct name for it. It was a binary system, that's the one, and the other star in the binary system went supernova, leaving the sole star remaining, which was able to withstand the supernova and recollect the orbit of at least some of the planets of the system, which is very impressive. But yeah, the supernova of the other system was a pulsar star, is our understanding. Which I am not an expert on space by any means. I'm an expert on very few things nowadays, but I just think it's so interesting to hear about stuff like that because you hear the numbers and it's just such a vast, incredible scale. It's awe-inspiring. But yeah, I can send the name for how it's spelt in chat. It's Methuselah, which is aptly named after the figure it's the book of Genesis, right? I'm not pulling it from somewhere incorrectly. The story of the longest lived human in the Old Testament, I believe. But that's the name for the planet, which is spelt like this. Which, I think stars are cool. I think that's very fun. I was very tempted because I have quite a few non-fiction books in front of me on my little desk from books I was able to pick up over Christmas, because I got a few books for Christmas, but I also did a bit of charity shopping and traveling, and I went to a few second-hand bookstores, which was super duper exciting. I want to do a little thingamabob where I go through all the books I got over the kind of holiday period at some point. I'm not sure if I'll do that on stream or if I'll do it as like a little TikTok and record it offline. But yeah, I'm super excited about books. Brother stars? This word rings a bell to me. Hypothetical alternative to black holes. Oh, okay. composed of 3 regions. Whoa, I want to read about the proposed maths. Stop giving me words, give me maths. I might be the only one who wants to read about it that way, but I still do. You should let me look at the maths. As a treat, you know. The star is also HD 140283. Oh, is that the number name for Methuselah? Yeah, that's my brain stopped for a second. I did have the number written down, but I thought with the potentially awkward nights related sleep deprivation I currently have, it may not be the best bet for me to try to read out a string of letters. A string of letters that don't form a traditional word per se. Wait, Nya, did you just know that off your head? The top of your head? That's crazy. Shock? I too am shocked and surprised and in awe about planets and stars. I think it's really cool. Wait, I had a festive fun fact, and I don't know if it's seasonally appropriate anymore. If you were to get 2 fun facts as a treat, would that be? Look up good CVTs. Oh heck, we've only got a minute to go. Okay, if you wait until the end, you get a fun fact about arson, kind of. I stumbled across it in a YouTube video and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is perfect for the couplets. They'll love this. Oh, thank you for the stitch, Benny. Oh, I'm a teeny bit nervous. I think like a lot of people, I have signed up for a gym following New Year because I want to do more like muscle building, not just cardio and flexibility training this year. And I'm excited, but I'm also dreading the amount of people who are going to be at the gym the first Saturday of the new year. But I'm part of the problem, so I'm not going to dread it too much. World's first gear CVT? I feel like I don't know enough about gears for who I am as a person. Okay, it's a time. Let's get excited. It's book club time. No, I didn't memorize the numbers. There are very few things I remember. I thought it might be one of those cases of like, you forget your own name, but you remember the exact combination the enemies appear in for waves for a Final Fantasy dungeon shenanigan, you know? Oh, hey, Calatonics, welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. Buff Librarian, yeah! Hi, Harlock. Okay, let us swap over. I'm just gonna double check that my slides are not set up correctly. Wrong one. This is the one. Wow, I'm experiencing a teeny bit of scuff. No, okay. There we go. Sorted. Let the book club begin. Oh wait, hi Juki. How you doing? Happy New Year. I'm doing good. It's exciting times. Okay. Let us hop over into the book club. Hello, it is I, Denya, the squeaky host of the Lively Book Club. I hope you're all excited to be here. Woo! I should have prepared a clap like an applause track. I think that would have been a valuable part of it. But I hope you're all excited. This is gonna be the kind of main bit of today's stream. We are gonna be yapping and learning through the setup of the Library Book Club, which is gonna run monthly from now on. Hi, Vale. I'm not sure if I want to skip-a-dee-dee-nya. I'm still not sure what a skippity is, I'm gonna be honest. But I hope you're having a good day nonetheless. Oh gosh. Then yes, let us begin. So we're first gonna kind of run through the structure and the plan of how the library's book club going to run, and then we're going to do some logistics on the voting for which books we're going to read for the first month. And then after that we will be doing a little bit of democracy, deciding what day the book club should meet on. So I hope you're all excited. I'm going to be using the Twitch polls, subject to chaos. But let us begin. The plan. Dun dun dun. Also the plan. Very scary. The plan for the book club will be similar to the existing structure, from where we'll be reading 2 books each month, where one will be sci-fi or fantasy and the other will be a non-fiction or informative book. These genres aren't like rigid. It doesn't have to kind of be classical high fantasy and informative text, but it's more so a guideline, because I know that my phone is beeping at me. I know that at least I often will want to make an effort to read more non-fiction. I tend to love and naturally gravitate towards reading fantasy, and so it's always a super duper big resolution for me to try and read more non-fiction, to try and read more poetry. And so over time I imagine I'm going to build up more concrete descriptions of the 2 categories. The general plan will be there will be one that is fantasy or not set in the real world with some question marks, and one which will be either character studies, informative texts, historical texts, potentially poetry or autobiographies, biographies kind of stuff. Anything in that genre. I will be nominating an endless supply of informative texts about plants. I hope you all understand. And then, yeah, going forwards, the date which it is today, so the first Friday of the month, will be when nominations or suggestion for the book club books open. I figured that since it is the first month, I should make things a little smoother sailing and handle the nominations myself, so I've put forwards 3 books for each category, which is slightly biased towards my taste, but should hopefully give like a little bit of an outline of what the types of things for each genre will be, and we can vote and discuss. The general plan will be that first Friday of the month will be when book suggestions and nominations open, which will happen via a Google form in the Discord, or it will be pinned in my About Me on Twitch. And then the following week we will have the meeting where we review the last month's book, and any books nominated will be put up for vote on which one we read, because democracy. Plans are cool. Plans are very cool. We have non-fiction ready. Wait, no fiction? Ooh, I'm so excited. I'm kind of planning that for the first month, given momentum is strange. I'm gonna set up the form to open from tomorrow, so you'll be able to nominate books for February and for the whole month of January. I'm not 100% sure whether it's just going to be like the 1 week nomination period or the previous month, because I don't want people forgetting what they've nominated, but I also don't want people being like super inspired of going, oh, that was fun, I'd love to read one of these books next time, and then forgetting because they have to wait 3 weeks. So it'll be a little bit of a logistics. We'll figure it out. We'll get to read some good books. Is there any guidelines for the length of the books we nominate? So, I haven't intended to put a kind of hard limit on the number of pages in the book. One of the books I have nominated. Oh wait, actually, let me double check. I think I may be the problem for this one. Let me check how many pages are. Is over 1,000 pages. And so, although I'm not imposing a strict kind of rule that it should be this many pages, I think it will be voted on by people, and I will try my best to have a little description of the lengths and the topics covered in each book prepared. And so people will kind of self-center in the sense of if people aren't comfortable or wanting to read such a long book, they will likely not vote for. And so I don't currently have a plan to include a length cap on the books. For something like a manga or manhwa or webcomic that doesn't have a defined serialized start and finish in the same way that a traditional book might, I'm going to generally recommend either the books would fall into the first season, so the first 12 chapters if it was a half anime sort of thing. I know chapters aren't always adapted one for one, but that would be my general suggestion, with some discretion of whoever's nominated the book for understanding when the first sort of arc concludes. But yeah, that is my general thingamabob for length of books. I hope that all makes sense. Oh, good evening, Deke. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're excited for books. But yes, this is the general plan. Any questions? I have periodically scheduled in any questions time so I don't accidentally yap about the next slide whilst on the previous one, and I have immediately forgotten about that and started yapping about the next slide. But yeah, this is sort of the general outline. Something which I thought would be worth clarifying is one of the reasons why I've nominated doing 2 books per month isn't because everyone has to read both books. I know that depending on the pace people read at, and especially if it is a more substantial book, it might be a big time commitment or just a lot of effort for someone to read both pieces in a given month. The reason why I like having 2 books is because it allows there to be some amount of consistency of what people can return to with the genre of content they expect, with covering 2 different areas, whilst also allowing a range of things to be covered. The other is that although I would prefer and will generally recommend and will look at when reviewing the books for nomination to steer away from some of the more kind of serious or potentially upsetting topics that can come up in literature, I think that if there is something, say, one of my friends has a fear of spiders, and so if spiders are a big part of the fantasy setting for the world that a book is in, and the book doesn't have content that might not make appropriate for a big conversation in the library, but would be difficult for them to read, it still gives them something to engage with in the book club for that month, in most likelihoods, so they can still take part. And yeah, I hope that makes sense. It's going to be a little bit of an evolving system, but I think it should work quite well, so I hope people will enjoy it. No atlas? Wait, what do you mean no atlas? Like, the atlas, or the no reading the book? You can suggest a dictionary, but I don't know how many votes you'll get. Trying to get everyone together. Getting the same printing of a specific atlas is difficult. Stop trying to duel me. I'm trying to be a host. I've got to be respectable. Atlas Shrugged is a book by Anne Mead. I don't know why, but my brain assumed that you were saying the word shrugged as like a communication of tone and response. But yeah. Oh, does it have some spooky stuffs? Yeah, I think it's going to be the case of over time we'll potentially establish the more clear sort of boundaries and expectations of suitable content to be covered by books. And over time, I will try my best to add to a set of rules that can be consulted ahead of time. It's 650,000 words! That's a big book. Okay. What the heck? I'm kind of curious about it now. No, but yeah, that'll kind of be something that evolves over time as you encounter things, which I know isn't a perfect description of how something would set up, but I hope it's understandable. And I'm just gonna do my best to kind of operate in terms of good faith and trying to make sure it is a fun and enjoyable book club with good intentions. And I'm gonna try my best that on the form submission, I'm going to ask if people want to include who nominated it, so that if I have any questions about the book, or if I want to clarify certain content for it, I can ping them a message. If you don't want to have your name on it, that's okay, but if it means that I have an uncertainty about the book, it might not get included. I hope that kind of makes sense from a nomination part. Oh, hi, Ozzy. Welcome. Long time no see. It's been since last year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. That's almost as long as the Bible? Wait, how many words is the Bible? I feel like I should know this. I've read it enough times. Bible word count is probably not a frequent Google search. The King James Bible is 800,000 words. Oh no, the King James Bible has 780,000 words. Interesting. Ooh, okay. I accidentally delved into a Wikipedia article on Bible discussion, which is a terrifying part of the internet to be in, so I'm running away. We've had some weird book suggestions before. Yeah, we've had some cool ones. House of Leaves. Should I be scared of this? Someone mentioned this book to me in a stream last week, and I'm scared of it because the book cover is just ominous and I know nothing else. And sometimes you do judge a book by its cover because packaging is an important part of communication of theme and like content. If there's an entirely different read experience to a book that's packaged as a historical document but is actually speculative fantasy, and something that's like brand new high fantasy with one of those ugly stickers that the bookstore put on it that you can't get off without damaging the paper. You can't complain about word count when you threatened us with your set theory book. I restrained myself. I didn't. Okay, I almost put a book about the history of the development of mathematical models from a computer machine learning perspective on here, and you're all lucky I didn't, because I knew it would only get one vote from me. But I was tempted. I almost did it. Stephen Wolfram, A New Kind of Science. It's a cool book. It took me like 5 months to read properly, and I'm planning on rereading it at some point to make sure I fully understand the... Do you count words when you read? No, but I feel like you often get a gist for the length of the book, and so even if it might be difficult to quantify, if I were to know the length of a book that I have read, then I could say, oh, this book is probably around twice as long, so therefore it's this volume. You know, like estimated word count shenanigans. Happy New Year, thank you! If you want me to suggest you a series to read, it'll take years. Just you wait to see my nominations win, you'll be excited. I told you Brandon Sanderson was gonna be here. Look at the pit you've made me fall into, it has so many pages. You'd get the meme voters? Ah! What about the sincere voters? What about the voters who yearn to understand how Mathematica was constructed? This isn't a meme, this is maths, it's fun! Okay, next question. Zlatan, sci-fi and fantasy. So, this will be potentially the more... I think this may be the more kind of popular category as a guess for books that we're going to be reading and voting on. This can range from sort of teen and children's sci-fi fantasy, a book that I've previously nominated for categories like this and still haven't been read, is Mr. Monday from The Keys of Time by Garth Nix, although I think the latter books are better in the series. I think it's still a fun series. A classic is also Skullduggery Pleasant, but I picked some ones that veer slightly outside of teen fantasy for the first month, for which ones will be suggested. So I'm going to just do a brief description of each of the books. I have tabs open for this to make sure I don't tell any fibs, so if you see me pause to read, that's why, don't be mean to me. So we're going to start with Calypso by Oliver K. Longmead. This is a Langmead, sorry, I've actually spelled the name wrong. Oh dear. So this is an interesting book in a few aspects, in that it has some horror elements, which you won't see me willingly engage with very often at all. So count yourselves very lucky in that regard. But it's also written in structured prose. I believe it's written almost entirely or completely in iambic pentameter, which is a syllabic 10 count that became famous, I would say, from Shakespeare often writing in it. It was very highly rated amongst the sci-fi and fantasy books that came out last year, and it's like a little bit out of my usual reading zone, but I thought it might be interesting as a book to suggest, so I kind of picked this as a not Denya-esque nomination. So it wasn't all just fantasy. I was like, oh heck, I need a sci-fi one. So yeah, it is. Where's my? I had a nice little summary page open. Oh my gosh. I just keep seeing the same extract on a bunch of websites. No, where's my little genre summary? But yeah, it is no, I've lost my tab. Who could have guessed that if you have 30 tabs open, you can't find the one you want? I'm gonna talk about Babel next because I know about that book without the tab. Okay, so it's interesting because it has structured prose. It's written essentially as long form poetry, but it is a sci-fi deep space horror to some extent, kind of a dystopian future novel. It's about a group of ships off in the future, and she explores the main character as she exists in this future world, and she explores and finds the last remaining members of the crew amongst the legacy warship that carried on as she slept. So it picks up from the kind of classic concept of deep space hibernation and what happens when you're on the other side. With in this new world, people largely split into two camps of engineers and botanists with different views of how the world should be rebuilt when they all woke up with the utopia of technology and the different versions of a new start and ideal. And it's about the character who is the last to wake up on the ship Calypso, and how, with this heated debate on where the new future for them will unfold after their long sleep, she is left as the deciding vote, with the remaining people have already evenly split. And so I think it's got a lot of interesting stuff. I think it's a slightly unusual one, with being that personally I tend not to read books that are written as poetry super duper often, but my reading resolutions for this year are to read more poetry and more nonfiction, so this gets one of them out the park straight away. But I just thought it sounded quite interesting. Oh, hi Pesky, thank you for the hydrate. I'm sorry I missed it amongst my vicious fight with the tabs. No, my toggles. Thank you for the pats. Thank you. I hope you're having a good day, local pirate. Distant pirate? I suppose it depends how far you are from the sea at any given time. Just now, how you describe Stormlight 1. The Way of Kings is going to be a slightly ominous one to describe, but I'm going to try my best. So, The Way of Kings is a novel by Brandon Sanderson, which is the first book in a series called Starlight Archive. And so it's the case where there's a relatively self-enclosed story in the first book, but there will be a series that you can continue on to if you want to keep reading. I will generally say, as a policy for book club, I will not be doing like sequels as part of the recommendations, because I want people to be able to hop in when they want. Oh, hi, Almontes. Oh, heck, I have squats. What if I try and describe a Brandon Sanderson book whilst doing squats? How do we think that would go? Is that a bad idea? I feel like that's a bad idea. But skipped Starlight? What do you mean? The Way of Kings is the first book in the Starlight series, isn't in the Starlight Archive? Unless I've picked the wrong one? What do you mean? I have to work out. Don't send me ominous messages whilst I have to do squats. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Starlight is a very long but very good series by Brandon Sanderson. I have been slowly reading different Brandon Sanderson books over the course of the last year, and just as a general recommendation, is one of the people I enjoy for writing world building that impacts life in a way that makes it feel fleshed out. It doesn't necessarily have to be the most down to the atom, this is how this works, and the electrons are wrong in this universe and so people have magic, but it is a very fleshed out magic system, and it's very thorough world building. It's world building that rewards thinking about how rain falls differently, sort of thing, which I always enjoy. But yeah, I believe the Starlight Archive series is still ongoing, which I know some people prefer to read series once they're finished, so that's always worth mentioning. Strong body, strong mind. There was another 10 squats. Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah. Okay, I will describe the book whilst doing squats this time. So The Way of Kings is the first book in the Starlight series, which is a saga that's been going on for around more. Oh my goodness, I'm starting to think you all don't want a book club after all. What is this? Okay, quick workout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the reason why I'm working out in the middle of trying to introduce the book club is because you need really strong arms to be able to hold up Brandon Sanderson books by the time they're almost finished. So Is it 10 sit-ups now? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to get close. Let me do my sit-ups. 10 to go, and then we can get back to our books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ugh. I'm sitting on the floor now. I'm not sure if I want to get back up to my chair. If I see my screen, you're going to try and redeem more things. But then I do look a little bit silly staring up into the distance. Okay. Here we go. Welcome back. We are back at the book club. Stay strong, Mouse. I'm trying. I just signed up for a gym membership. You don't need to make me do squats anymore. I want a book club, but I do also want you to work out. Oh my goodness. Demanding couplets. Wait. My brain is smooth. What does that message mean, Benny? Oh, healthy mind, healthy body. My brain. I was trying to figure out what autocorrect had done because I'm like, those are word shaped. Those, I feel like I know what those words mean, but it's just because I used to read a bit of Latin. It's not a typo, it's a dead language. Never mind. Oops. Technically, Stormlight is done for now? Ooh, interesting. I think it was another 10 squats, 10 sit-ups. I did 20 squats and 10 sit-ups, which I think is correct. Although I might pout a little bit when redeemed, I do not intend to scam anyone out of workouts. I told a friend then you could do 100 squats in one go. I can. I might need to get a bit more muscly, but I'm really good at like long distance running, and so I have pretty strong legs. I think between me, Max, and Denya, we'd have to do 1 million exercises, and that's why I'm so nice to you both. Well, one day I live in fear of Syphal's channel points. Count me in as well? What about redeeming games for people? You can't use your channel points for evil. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna talk to it in some more detail later, but for general book club functionality, the books will be nominated through a Google form. They will be in my Discord and will be in my About Me on Twitch. They'll be set up over the next few days for nominations for February. With it being the first month, I've picked 3 books for each category that we can vote between as if they were nominations, and then we'll be doing the review aspect on stream. And so I'll be opening a little form up to a week in advance where people can submit their thoughts about the book, and we can read them as little notes. Because in the past I've ran it as a Discord call, and a few people spoke to me about how they really liked having a book club, but they either weren't comfortable talking in a Discord call, or it was just, how do I phrase it, a different style of engagement to streaming. And so with the kind of context and establishment of the book club being through being a silly little VTuber, I thought having it in a livestream format might be more accessible to people and give people a way that they can join in without potentially being as spooky. But yes, we have a Discord command. If anyone would like to join the Discord, there is a dedicated book club channel which people can yap about books in there in general. Although I will ask, if you're talking about a current month's books, to use spoilers bars in Discord just to make sure people that don't get bamboozled by content that they were excited to read as the plot goes on. I think if you're here and you're excited for a book club, you understand the importance of not spoiling things. So hopefully I don't need to hark on about that. These are the selections for this month. I could do book club on any day other than Fridays. So my general suggestion, the book club day will be voted on towards the end. There's a few days up as the option. There's, how do I phrase it? I'm gonna do the day that it's run on, vote off what most people can do. I just thought it would be good to do the first one as a Friday, since it's like, I don't know, Fridays are like a special event day in my mind. So I thought it'd be a good way to kick it off. Not. I'm not sure if I did end up giving an adequate description of the Way of Kings amidst the workout. The Way of Kings is a book that discusses the paths of three characters as they progress in this kind of unstable, partially collapsed or on the verge of collapse system, and who will gain power. You can kind of tell by the grand title of The Way of Kings. But summarizing Brandon Sanderson books is hard. Min can probably do a better job than I have, having now read this one myself. But I thought it might be interesting. I also believe, with like an asterisk, because I am not on the TikTok, but I believe some quotes from it went viral as like an audio recently. And so if you have like a Zoomer that you need to make conversation with, you can tell them you read the book that the fun little TikTok audio comes from. This is my net understanding of how TikTok works. I hope everyone understands. I was worried my book pile was gonna finally decrease because I might miss it. No. We're being flexible. We're being a democratic library. Everyone's getting a good say. And then the final book is one that I'm quite excited for. Is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is a fantasy book set in an academic setting in a kind of fantasy Oxford in, I believe, around the 1800s. And it's discussing the lives and progression and actions of students who are brought to Oxford from around the world because the power of language, and in this world the magic system is based around language and the nuances between what phrases mean in different languages and how this can be cast into the magic of the misinterpretation of the nuance between them and the association, which I think is just a really interesting concept for a magic system, and is a book that has been highly nominated? That makes it sound so formal. Highly recommended to me by a lot of people. And I'm always just biased towards a book that's set in I love a good dark academia setting. That's always going to be my jam. So that's cool. Can easily decrease the last 6 book months. It'll really thinned. Oh, we gotta pick books with big word counts to inconvenience Syphil then. I'll probably wait to look at other stuff till after book club, since we want to kind of keep focused to get through all this. I've already had my little workout mini stream. We gotta get back to the books. But yeah, I'm gonna set up the little poll on Twitch. So let me start the manage poll. This is where it would have been a really good idea for me to copy out the names of each of the books, so you don't have to hear me tip-top typing them out. But the nominations for book 1 are Calypso by Oliver K. Langmead. I have typed it wrong in the word limit. Oh gosh, okay. I'm trying my best to fit in the word titles, but I forgot how short the Twitch the Twitch word count is on polls. The Way of Kings by Brando. Once you write books with certain numbers of pages, you don't get a full name anymore. You are simply Brando. This is the limitation of Twitch. I hope everyone understands. And then Babel by R.F. Kuang. I'll start that now with a little 5 minutes on the clock. But yeah, I hope everyone's excited. I know that given my bias for what types of books I like to read, it may not be as broad a spread of the sci-fi and fantasy genre as there might be otherwise when you're all opening up for nominations. But that's one of the reasons I like book clubs so much, because it gives you a chance to read things that are potentially outside of your normal habit and discover how cool it can be. Because you like, well, it's just fun. I think it's neat. I like books. We have established. But yeah, the poll is leading. I'm gonna try my best not to just sit and watch it because I don't want to be too nosy. But yeah, I hope everyone's excited. I know a few people have probably already started yapping about what books they want to nominate for next month, and so I'll be trying my best to open the form for next month in the coming days. It'll be out by Monday at the latest, and so if you wanna get a chance to suggest a book that you think will be fun in the future, you'll be able to there. Yeah, I'm excited. Honestly, I think all of these books at some point or another I'm gonna end up reading. I say with my TBR list very, very measured and controlled. No no unending shelves in front of me. But I'm excited for all of these. I'm biased, I pick them, but yeah. It's not until I stop yapping and I try and wait for something that I realize 5 minutes is a long time. But that's kind of baffling, because when you think sometimes you sit through 5 minutes and it's just like, gosh darn it, this is the longest 5 minutes I've ever witnessed. And then I stream for 11 hours. I don't know how I do it. Interesting winnowing now? I haven't actually looked. I don't know if I should, because I feel like if I respond, I like wiggle the bit. I have done the thing where you are only allowed a single vote, because I think if it went off channel points, then it would become a Johnny Maxwell will decide our next book club book situation. But yeah, I'm gonna generally have the principle that for book club nominations, you are very welcome to nominate the same book twice in a row. So if you really like the idea of one of these books and it doesn't get picked, you're very welcome to nominate it as a suggestion for next month. I will also say I feel like I was a bit of a disaster in terms of explaining the books, so for next time I think I'm going to do my best to have a little blurb pre-written up on screen for each of the books, just to make it a bit easier to navigate. But yeah, it's all a work in progress. We read books, we figure out how to do things nebulously. One day we'll figure it out. Wait, you know what this is perfect time for? This is perfect time for my festive arson related fact that I almost didn't get to go through in time for Christmas. So, there is a tradition in Iceland there's a tradition in Galva, Sweden, every Christmas since, I believe, 1966, that they display a giant wooden statue of a goat. And I'm not quite sure of the origin of the tradition, but it has become the town's tradition that every year they intend to destroy the goat before it gets to Christmas, and so it becomes a kind of competitive arson, with all the people of the village doing various means to destroy the goat in time for New Year. Mostly destroyed by fire. Some instances where it's been stolen. Someone tried to steal the goat with a helicopter one year, but the goat for 2024 survived until Christmas, as you may or may not be pleased to know, depending on how fond you are of arson. And for the last few years they've done a live stream of the goat where you can watch and see what goes on. I should clarify, this is like a giant 10-foot tall wooden statue of a goat. No actual animals are harmed. It is a fun little statue. It's like a little tradition. Interesting winner. Babel by R.F. Cromwell. Okay, I'm excited for this one. I fear that this means that I will simply have to read Brandon Sanderson books in my own time again. Oh, okay. I shall be putting Calypso in the Way of Kings on my to-be read list. But imminently for this month, our first book slot will be selected as our Babel by R.F. Cromwell. Poor Giga Goat, big goat. I suppose it is like a Trojan goat to an extent. Oh, hey, Marianachi, welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. Now, on to slot 2. So, this is the non-fiction and informative category. One of my resolutions is to try to read more long-form non-fiction and kind of informative essays, because I often fall into the little rabbit hole of either reading something that is a purely academic text, so often in my background in maths, or occasionally in one of my like hobby backgrounds in something like linguistics. But I tend not to engage in books in the same way they do of fantasy or sci-fi or even history books in the same way. Okay, I'm gonna swap back for a second because I forgot to update the slides. Oh my gosh, let me. Oh, did I really forget to? No panic here. Everything's going so well. I'm very good at hosting things. I have books suggested. I promise. I pinky promise. Oh no, I'm gonna have to try so hard to spell things correctly at a quick speed. I've never been good at that. Everyone says super duper nice things about the book club whilst I exist in a state of panic. Pretty please. Nom. Okay, book 1 of 3 written out. Thank you for the pet spinny. Okay, book 2 written out. And the final one. Bethany Hughes. Okay, there we go. No scuff here. Never a second of scuff in the library. Now, on to our non-fiction and informative section. I'm curious of what your thoughts on Babel are, Dinya, because I have thoughts. Oh, well, I haven't read it yet, given the nature of the book club book, so I'm looking forward to. I fear that this means you may not have the best review, but I'm quite excited to read it. I've heard several people talk excitedly about the concept, so I'm looking forward to it. It's 3 a.m. I'm gonna sleep. Oh my gosh, Mio, get some good sleep. Good night. Sleep well. All of the clubs I've been, this is the book one. It's a cool book club. We got so many books. But let me go through the nominations for this one. So this is just a little bit less out of my wheelhouse. As I was talking about before, I encountered a teeny tiny bit of scuff. I tend to read more fantasy and non-fiction than fantasy and sci-fi than non-fiction books. But we have 3 nominations that I hope will be interesting and provide a good spread of knowledge. So we're gonna start with Butter by Asako Yuzuki, which is really one of the critically acclaimed books out of 2024. So Butter is inspired by real events, and it's the story of a cook and serial killer set in Japan, and it's it sounds very strange to read as a non-fiction book, but from what I've seen and heard from my friends who've read it, it's got quite an interesting depiction of character study and kind of a book about people more so than about events in their general nature. But it has crime fiction, thriller, and suspense elements with like a teeny bit of horror, given the nature of murder. But yeah, that's one of those very highly acclaimed going out of the end of 2024 books, and so I thought would be a nice one to include. The next one, I told you I was going to include books about plants, is called The Light Eaters by Zoe Schlunger, which is it is a book about how cool plants are, essentially. It's a combined informative and anecdotal discussion on the wonders of plants and how they work, and it discusses things such as plant intelligence and the kind of complexities of them, and how you have plant cultures, not just in the sense of a culture that you would grow, but the notion of like communication, or how do I phrase this, awareness within forests and stuff like that. It's still all based within scientific research. It doesn't kind of venture into the speculative fantasy, from my understanding. But it's things like plants releasing stress chemicals to communicate if they're eaten, etc., and different ways of how they communicate, and the intelligence of plants, which I think is neat. I regularly look at my Monstera and go, you seem like a smart fellow. So, smarter than me. I swear my Monstera would remember to fully double check the slides before I go live. Has anyone recommended the Stormlight Archive from Brandon Sanderson? So, the nominations for the first month I picked out myself. The Stormlight Archive, I believe that is the series for Way of Kings. That was actually one of our suggestions for slot 1. It came in second. You'll be very welcome to submit it if you want it to be read for the February. So starting in February, getting discussed in March book. But it did not win out this year. Have I spelled the name wrong? I have. The tradition continues. I'm very sorry. Okay, but it's Asako, not Asoko, for the author of Butter. That is my bad for trying to type quickly. Way of Kings is the first book. Yeah, we had Way of Kings nominated as one of the books for the sci-fi fantasy slot, the other half of the book club, but it came second to Babel. So very welcome for nomination for next month. But we have Babel locked in and loaded for this month's fantasy or sci-fi book. And then the last one, which honestly I'm kind of expecting this to be the most popular one potentially. I don't know how far my my enthusiasm for plant anecdotes has converted the couplets, but The Seven Wonders of the World by Bethany Hughes is a historical book discussing the construction of what now are the Seven Wonders. That was a rather mundane explanation, but it kind of discusses a lot of the history of the speculated construction and the time periods in which each of the wonders were constructed. And I think that sounds pretty cool and interesting. I believe the first section is based on the Great Pyramids of the Nile in my history 2500 BC roughly. And it goes through the kind of some amount, because we don't fully know, obviously, as we weren't there, the construction, but it talks about the kind of cultural significance at the time and the motivation for that construction of what became the seven man-made wonders. So yeah, these are the little non-fiction and informative books for slot 2. And so I feel like I got through that so speedily, but I think it's just because I didn't have to do a workout in the middle. Plants may be a hard sell. One day I'll get there. One day I'll get people to read a few hundred pages on plants. It's really fun, I promise. I'm realizing the whole, oh yeah, people wouldn't enjoy me talking about what books I've gotten when they find out that 3 out of 7 of them are all historic texts about identifying different plants or their local evolution. It may it may lose some engagement. But yeah, I'm super duper excited to get a chance to be motivated to read more nonfiction because it is something that I think I struggle a bit. Okay, because of the word cap, I can't actually write the full description of the 7 wonders, but we are going to start that now, and hopefully it is communicative which book is which. I'm sorry I cannot write the full titles. I am curbed by the pesky word count of Twitch, much to my chagrin. I'll have to recommend it because I would love to hear opinions on the series. I've been following it since I was in high school. Oh my gosh, I believe the series started in 2004. I might have imagined that, but I think that's when The Way of Kings was originally published, or it might have been even earlier. I originally found out about. I'm just yapping about something else whilst the poll goes on, so I don't bias anyone. But the reason I first heard of The Way of Kings was because I believe Brandon Sanderson went back and wrote an alternative version to it, which I think is very interesting for an author to do, especially when the book has a sequel and a universe that continues to exist based off it. And so I knew of it prior to actually reading any of Brandon Sanderson books. The Way of Kings is 2010. What am I thinking of one of his other books? He has a few of them. He has a few of them, so it can be easy to get confused. Wait, which am I thinking of then? Did I lose my marbles? Did Brandon Sanderson not release 2 versions of one of his early stories? Might be thinking of Mistborn? I don't think so. I'll probably get myself in trouble for this. I have read the first 2 books of Mistborn, but I was a little grumpy at the ending of the second one, so I haven't read the third because I believe it's a trilogy. I paused after book 2. But I'll pick it up at some point. I do enjoy the world building, but I don't want to spoil anything. But a lot of the things within the story that I found the most engaging and to some extent easy to root for. I wouldn't expect anyone to say that the characters in Mistborn are the most perfectly likable main cast, but a lot of my favorite parts of the story kind of were resolved or closed off in one way or another at the end of the second book, and I was a bit grumpy about it. I was like permanently. So yeah, I've heard really good things about the third book, but I haven't had a chance to pick up a physical copy of it, which I'm trying to do more physical reading and less digital reading, just to look after my eye health. Because although digital books can certainly be more accessible from a logistical and financial perspective, but if given the opportunity to go near bookshops and stuff, which I am lucky to have, and I'm at a point where I can choose to spend some money on books to pick them up, especially with being responsible and shopping secondhand for them a lot of the time, I think it's good to look after my eyes. And also, because I am planning on putting up more bookshelves, there won't just be a stack of about 80 books going up my staircase soon. It'll be more organized. I got more. Read Hero of Ages? Wait. Hero of Ages is the 3rd book? Yeah. I will at some point. If I get through both of the book club books for this month, as well as the one which I'm currently finishing, then I'll pick up the last Vander Sande book, I think. I'm actually being relatively good at the moment in that I'm only reading 2 books at the same time. Although it's often the case that with several of the books that I'm reading at the moment that they are non-fiction books about different the development of different ecological environments and past kind of what's the word? The changes of the plant systems and biomes across the world, specifically the UK, as it's where I have the most context for, with the international spread of plants from the increased mobility of humans, and reading about how that changed them. I've got 2 interesting books on that I'm slowly reading through at the moment, but because it's more of an informative article is how it's structured, less so than a traditional page-turner book, I'm kind of picking it up and reading whilst I wait for my ramen to finish cooking and then putting it down, rather than reading it as a little page-turner. So in a sense, I have 5 books on the go, but I'm only actively reading 2 books at the moment, which is pretty good for me. It's going to immediately jump up to 4, but one of the books I'm on the last 5 chapters, so I'll finish soon. It is the Queen of Nothing by... My mind has gone blank. I want to say Holly Black, The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, which is the final book from the Folk of Air series, which I've been quite enjoying. You got it? Get 1 era 2 of Mistborn? Wait, era 2? Oh, it's finished! Wait, I know the couplet so well. The book that is won for slot 2 is The 7 Wonders of the World by Bethany Hughes. I'm quite excited for this one. I want to do more historic reading, and so I hope this will be a good little step into it. I'm doing 2016-ish? I'm not sure I came across The Way of Kings after a year or so before Oathbringer was released. Oh, okay. I think that's one of the more recent ones in the series. I know it's one of his. I'm not sure Brandon Sanderson really writes short books, but yeah, we have our 2 books for the first book club decided. They are Babel by R.F. Kuang and the Wonders of the Ancient World by Bethany Hughes. I hope everyone's excited for them. If we have any questions about the logistics, more question time. Wow, we can jump on to deciding when we will meet. I know guaranteeing having a set time being available isn't always the most practical, but I'm hoping that if we have it be at a set date each month, it can be easy for people to get back to, and there won't be any ambiguity of when you need to finish your book by. So, hopping on, if there's no further questions, we'll be discussing meeting day for when the book club will be running. So I'm aware that I have ran this in the first week of the month, but my general plan is that the book club will be on the 2nd week of each month. However, I don't have a particularly strong feeling on what day of the week it would be. I am hoping to start a consistent playthrough of games on Sundays with The Witness, where I do it every week and have a little bit of a routine in that aspect, and I try my best to do study streams every Tuesday. And so excluding those days, it will be up to the wild whims of the couplets what day we meet on. So I'm going to arbitrarily discount Monday, just because I feel like having a book club on the first day of the week feels a bit antithetical. I feel like it should be a kind of end of week celebration sort of thing. So we're gonna have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday as the options. Is that too arbitrary of me? I can add Monday back in. I feel like I've been unreasonable on that. But this will be as a rule of thumb, the day that the book club stream will be happening on, there may be some instances where I wouldn't be able to make the stream on that specific day, and we'll discuss in advance if we either do a different day or move it back a week potentially, which I would rather not do, just because you want to consistently have 4 weeks. I have somewhat intentionally set it up that this time we'll have 5 weeks before the first book club, since I thought with it being a kind of new thing, it might be nice to have a little bit longer than usual to get into the swing of things and to get the book read. I was also kind of expecting The Way of Kings to win, and so I was like, oh heck, people may need 5 weeks for Brandon Sanderson. So I was planning on that to some extent. But yeah. Oh gosh. I realized that there is the option that everyone simply votes for different days and we have a tie, which I didn't much consider. I probably should have allowed people to select multiple days. If we have a tie, then I'll run another poll in the Discord lasting 48 hours, I think, which will allow for multiple option selection if we're not able to get a conclusive answer here. Chat almost always tries to tie votes. Sometimes the couplets are cooperative. Oh, hi Coffee Cups, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the library. I hope you're having a good day. Welcome. Do you think they're trying to tie the votes now, or do you think they're just split by whimsy? The natural variation in life is causing difficulties in my collection of data. Oh, the chaos unbound Twitch chat. They cannot decide what day to have a book club on. Truly beings of chaos. It's too early to see Mondays of doom and gloom. Yeah, I feel like I think we all agree Wednesdays aren't good. Okay, good. I prefer to have shorter streams on Wednesdays, since Thursday's the day I go into the office, so I like to be in bed nice and early so I can have a good start for when I must venture out of my nice cozy library. So I'm always in favor of having shorter or quiet streams on Wednesdays. But yeah, the general structure of the book club, this stream will be a little bit shorter. In the future, my plan is that we will start by Oh, wait, that was a fib. There's one last poll left after this. Apologies if you are overwhelmed by decision fatigue at this point. I've asked you what books you want to read, not once, but twice, and now I'm asking you what day of the week you are generally free on. The scandalous, the onslaught of questions. Will they ever recover? But yeah, it is somewhat looking like the day of the week is going to be tied up, so I will be running a second poll in our Discord, which make sure to hop into. Well, and yeah, that is gonna be the plan for once it's decided. I hope everyone's excited. I'm always a teeny bit nervous about setting up stuff like this because I feel like I gotta be like presented in here, but I am not built for presenting. I am built for yapping. I am built for following every single tangent to my heart's desire, to the fullest extent of every thought, and often after that when it dissolves into nothing. And so the notion of like a concise and organized stream to introduce things is a little bit spooky, but I'm just excited to read. I love getting to talk about books. A book shared is a book added to in value. The urge of roasting Wednesday is very high. Are you available on mostly Wednesdays, Benny? Oh no. You're out to get me. Okay. I may rerun the poll in the Discord just between Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to see what results we get. Friday's going ahead? Ooh, okay. I will, because it's been very close. Let me see how my brain cells are doing. Is it possible? Ooh. The poll is about to end. No more stalemate. So Friday won by a very close margin. I am kind of cautious that because it was only by one vote, that it may be best to open it up to the Discord, because I kind of forgot that on Twitch you can't select multiple options for polls, which makes sense because Twitch polls are most often used for gambling and all logistics. But yeah, you didn't get to tie things. But but yeah, I'll be confirming on Sunday. I'll do like a little post about it after I release next week's schedule about what the finish day is going to be, because I would like to keep it consistent, and I would like for people to get a say. And I think the deciding the books is probably good for live, but maybe future availability. I am aware that if it was a date other than Friday the one, I would be less cautious of it. But you kind of have the conformative bias of the people who are able to attend Steam on Friday are the ones who voted, and so I want to be a bit mindful of that. I can't make them every first week of. I went to TRPG on Friday. This is the second week of the month. This is not the first. I'm very conscious of the fact that a lot of people do like community nights or special events on the first or last week of the month because it's like an easy one to denote. And so the plan is for this to be on the second week. It's why there's going to be 5 weeks to catch up with the first book. We'll have a look. I know there's a few people who said that they specifically can't make Friday rather than having preference for another day. So I'll see what I can do. Because I want people to be able to take part, you know? I like talking about books. Let's go? Okay. Let's go to the list. And thank you for being here. That's a fib. I have another poll. Get got. I would like to thank you all for being here, because I know this is like a slightly different stream to usual. And so I appreciate you all indulging in my book-related rambling, but I was going to ask a general format question, because I will be here yapping for the whole time, but I wanted to see whether or not people would like to review this month's book first, or if would rather do the decider for next month's books, because I can see an argument for both. And so I'm just going to set that up as the final decision. No more after this. You will be free to yap. You thought you were getting a heartfelt thank you, but instead you were jump scared by democracy. But yeah, it's something which I was a little uncertain of. I considered trying to set it up myself in advance, but I thought that there's a solid reason from both perspectives as to why you would like to have either the decider for next month's books first, because it allows people to hop into Steam at a kind of set start time without risking seeing information from a book from last month that they haven't read or wouldn't be able to participate in. So it makes sense to kind of get that done first as the part that is most palatable for people to hop into if they're joining the book club that month and haven't read the previous month's books. But then I was also conscious of the fact that I think the reviewing of the book is potentially the more exciting and engaging part. And so I wasn't sure if I should attempt, very loose description on attempt, to keep to a schedule regarding the sessions. I don't think I will. I may be very indebted to my Google Planner, but I'm not so much of a sort of scheduling person when it comes to the things I enjoy. I'll simply start and finish when I fall asleep. But yeah, so I wasn't entirely certain, because I know in the past for book clubs I've attended with friends, or I used to have a book club at my work which got shut down, which I miss. it was always that the review of this month's books and the catch up on it went first. But when I thought about it intuitively, it did seem to make more sense for the book selection to go first. But I didn't know if this was one of those instances where something makes sense to me and not necessarily everyone else. Sometimes I convince myself of a very logical construction and then fail to realize that because of like an existing social precedent or established pattern, it's just harder to adapt to because it's a change which is innately less familiar than the existing setup. I've been half off screen! I'm all animated and cool. I should get more attention. I should get more of the screen. Let me be in the middle. No, my ears have been out of frame. I mean too much. I just be wobbling back and forth. I kind of like I, as you may have noticed by my fringe, I am the type of person that sometimes I hide behind my hair, so I like that whenever I panic when something happens in a video game or in a interaction, I just can kind of go, whoa, and I hide off screen. You can't see me anymore. I vanished into the ether. I'm not here. I'm doing, what is it, the flamingo? That do the thing where they like stick in the head in the ground and go, I'm invisible. Maybe I'm flamingo coded. I think that's the right animal. Oh no, it's ostriches, isn't it? I believe so. I think I got ostriches and flamingos confused because I used to just think that they were kind of the same. It's very strange because if you see an animal without much context and you just kind of see, oh, long thin legs, like a neck kind of shaped like the number 2, and then the general shape of the body, you think, oh, flamingos and ostriches have similar silhouettes. Flamingos are just less muscular ostriches that are pink. You can tell I don't know too much about flamingos or ostriches, but I used to get them confused a lot. I used to like think they were the same animal, but one of them was like a pink version, and the same way that you get like like different versions of animals that are different colors. And then I saw a photo of a flamingo and an ostrich with scale, and I was like, oh, these are different creatures. But for a while, I was confused. There's a myth for ostriches, they don't actually stick their head in the ground. I've been bamboozled, I've been lied to. Aww. Do any animals like stick their head in the ground to hide? Other than mice. I suppose burrowing creatures are kinda a cheating answer. Not that mice are particularly burrowing, although some rodents can be. But I'm googling. I'm kind of struggling to see the similarities. Fail. No, there are no similarities. This is silly, Denya. This is this is in the way that I say that I read a book on the history of the development of machine learning models for mathematical computation for fun when I traveled. This is not something that should make sense. This is my personal form of madness. The difference is I've kidnapped flamingos before and an ostrich. You've committed crimes? Relating to birds? What do you mean you've kidnapped a flamingo before? Oh wait, the polls ended. Which one? How do I say the answer to a poll? Imagine I am very silly. View results! I'm so good at technology. Decide for next month. Okay, so the the format for the book club will be we meet at 7 p.m. on a yet not entirely decided day on the second week of each month, and we decide what books we'll be reading next month, which will have been nominated in advance via a Google form that will be available from the About Me on stream, on Twitch, and in the book club Discord channel. And then once that is concluded, we'll be doing a review of that month's books, which, for our first week, the book club books for this month will be Babel by R.F. Kuang for slot 1, and for slot 2 we will be reading The Seven Wonders of the Ancient World by Bethany Hughes. And I'm very excited! I hope you all too. We don't have a little chair, Denya. What's the chair equivalent? The Newman for books. I need to try and pick up a copy of The Seven Wonders of the World. I'm hoping to find a physical copy because I believe there's some fun images, like illustrations in it, and so I'm looking forward to it. Now I'm not gonna jump scare you with any more any more options for the democracy. It is the thank you part. I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for stopping by. You may have gathered over the course of the last year that I quite like books, and I think reading is very interesting. And so I appreciate everyone stopping by and engaging with the book club, and I hope everyone is looking forward to the books and gets to enjoy them. This is something that I've wanted to restart for quite a while, and so I'm really looking forward to it. And I wanted to thank you all for making it possible, because it's only because I'm lucky enough to have a community that I get to have a book club, that I get to have people that I can discuss these pieces with. And so yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Emotionally very very, very grateful. And yeah, I will be doing the little announce on which books have won over the next little while. I will make the post before I go to bed, though I fear I am ever eternally sleepy. I may be I may be going to bed quite soon, I think. But I hope you all had a wonderful stream. Well, it's gonna be a little bit of a short one today, since I just wanted to do the shenanigans of deciding which book club books it would be and getting it all started. I hope you're looking forward to it. There will be the secondary poll on what day will be best for the book club to run in the Discord, which will run over the weekend. And yeah, once again, thank you. Looking forwards. Oh, I'm excited. Thank you, Vale. I hope people are excited for the books. I'm super duper looking forward to them. See you tomorrow? Yeah! Wait, I should talk about the things I do that isn't yapping about books. I have 2 more streams this week, which are gonna be trying games for the first time, which is quite exciting. Lots of new beginnings this weekend. We're gonna be trying To the Moon, which is oh my gosh, wait, thank you so much for the 100 bits. I shall put it towards more books. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Whoa. Thank you. I've lost my brain cells, but I have bits for books, so maybe I found my brain cells. Yes, the last 2 students for this week are going to be trying To the Moon for the first time, which is Channel Pain Redeem by my brain's fried. I want to say Veil, but I'm not 100% certain. No, that was the other one. Oh heck, we'll be playing through To the Moon. Wait, what was it? I have it written down. No, it's wait time. I will also be doing The Witness. Bye bye. No, I was so organized outside of the slide that I broke. I forgot the raid message. I'm very awake. I'm going to bed. Goodbye. Goodbye. Whoa.